soy requena.
Can you identify anything in your past which led you towards art in general?
Yeah, I always wanted to be an artist. When I was growing up, my mom was very interested in photography, so she'd take me to like museums, and she'd always do arts and crafts like every day after school. And after that, I always had a passion for expressing myself through art because I moved around a lot as a kid, so how I make friends was really through art. And then I started journaling. This is my 29th journal. I started freshman year of high school. I fill these up very quickly, and yeah, then that really helped me process my emotions and be able to channel my art in a very specific location, and that led me to becoming art education major at Syracuse, and I ended up dropping the education, and now I'm just art.
So, what kind of led you to dropping the education side of things?
I wasn't very happy with how the education program was here. They would always talk about how we can improve art in the future, but they didn't really teach you why or how it's important. I dropped out my first year, so they probably taught you that later, but I wasn't very interested in that aspect. I felt like kids, like the art programs were usually focused on teaching them like traditional types of art, when I found that the most fulfilling part for me was journaling and doing stuff that's not usually traditional art. So I decided that I wanted to be more than just an educator in my life. I wanted to make stuff as education for other people.
So, what kind of art do you focus on now most?
Well, I call myself a multidisciplinary artist because I don't usually focus on one thing. I always kind of stick to topics. So, like, I'll do installation art and performance art. Yeah, I focus on installation, performance, and social work. And my topics usually range from intersectional feminism, food insecurity, immigration, and religious practices.
So, do you see any systemic issues in Syracuse University which led you to feel that something needed to be addressed by the staff or community?
Yeah, there's a lot of issues in this university. There's issues in every institution, but here I feel it very deeply because this university is so expensive that there should be better resources for kids, and like there should be funding for every program, not just the programs that they see as moneymakers or with the most famous alumni. I started noticing my biggest issues is when I started taking my classes at like 9 a.m. in the morning, and I would have to take a bus all the way here, and the buses were always late. I couldn't get a parking pass here. It would just suck to get around the university, and then when I got all the way here, I couldn't get any food here, which would suck because as studio arts majors, which I am, you have to spend specific required studio hours in these rooms. For me, since I'm a junior, I have to spend 15 hours here, and having the nearest food is on main campus, so when the buses aren't like on time and you don't really know when you'll be able to leave the studio, it really sucks to get food all the way here, so you either have to like DoorDash every day or go to the vending machine, which is usually like broken or like not stocked. That was the smallest issues I started seeing, and then it just kept growing.
So, how did you get involved in Comart Cafe?
I founded Comart Cafe. It was like a crazy dream of mine at first. I would always talk about how we needed food here, and we joke about it all the time when everyone was like, hey, do you have any ramen? Like, hey, what's up? So I was like, I wrote it in my journal. I was like, I wish I could make a little cafe in Comart the way that there's other cafes in other parts, like other faculties. So I mentioned it to my professor, and she was like, you should do that. I'm like, wait, really? And she took me to BJ's and gave me $200, and she was like, you can pay me back whenever your cafe makes this much money. And we did it in the first cafe. We were able to make enough money to pay her back. And it was crazy. I had such incredible support, and like the biggest issue that really started with it is we couldn't legally sell the food like on campus. So we started selling zines, which are little handmade magazines. And then with a zine came a free plate of food, and that solved everything. And then that helped me be able to sell art while also giving people food that they need.
So, who makes the zines for Comart Cafe?
It started with zines I would find online. I also made a couple zines, and I used to make zines in my free time because even though this thing is great, I love making little kind of like snippets of what I'm thinking, of what I'm feeling. So zine making is very, very easy. And when I started making them originals for Comart Cafe, people would ask me like, hey, can I make a zine? Or like, hey, can I be involved? And all my friends that are involved make original zines. We have themes for every cafe event that we have. And yeah, we all make the zines because they're so fun to make.
So Zoe, what got you into activism?
I was always interested in activism. Moving around a lot. I grew up in Venezuela, so I always had a deep connection to being politically active. But then I got introduced to feminism at a very early age, and that always very deeply interested me because when I started seeing one issue, I ended up seeing like 20 around me, and it was very intense for me to find out at such a young age. And I joined my feminist club in high school. We used to do a bunch of fundraisers, and I also joined I would help in community service with refugee houses, which were people from my own country. And when I came to Syracuse, I kind of lost that aspect because they weren't so easily available to be able to help with people in such a one-on-one form. So yeah, I've always read a lot of literature related to activism, and I'm always very interested in topics when it comes to that in the media I consume.
So, what kind of activist? So, what is your overall goal with Comart Cafe?
I would want for every student that has to live in this room after me to know that they will have a meal. If that means making the meals in Syracuse more accessible or more affordable or having better transportation, I don't know what that means, but I'm doing my part in it. I would love for Comart Cafe to continue after I'm gone. I would love to leave a legacy, even if it's a small one. Well, I think it's a medium-sized legacy. I would love for it to continue, but I'm not sure because it takes a lot of commitment and a lot of time. Yeah.
But have you seen, what reactions have you seen from other students?
Yeah, no, I think that Comart Cafe has definitely made a difference. At first, when I started making zines, I didn't think people were going to actually read them. They were just buying them to get food. But the first event, I saw people that have never been in the same room together talk about the zines to each other, and it was so fulfilling. And recently there was a freshman exhibition upstairs, and one of them made a big magazine, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read it. And one of them was breaking news, Comart has a cafe now. Unfortunately, students have to run it all the time. And I was like, freshmen that I don't know care about my project. That is so amazing. Yeah, people talk about it all the time. I think one of my professors, when they saw some things installed in the lounge where we do the Comart Cafe, they were like, oh no, did I miss it? I was like, no, you haven't missed it yet. It's become a thing that people look forward to, and I look forward to doing, even if it takes so much time. to leave here and know that Comart Cafe has impacted at least one person, I would be happy, and I think my message would be successful. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. I hope that right now we're doing them every 2 months. I hope that next year I can do them every month. Yeah, I want Comart to feel more connected, and I think I'm slowly helping that to happen.
So, Lily, tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Lily Ryan. I'm a junior at Syracuse University. I grew up here, studio arts major, spent a lot of time at Comart.
Great. And what's your favorite thing about Comart? Like community or like any other attribute?
I think my favorite thing about Comart is that like everything is here, so that the people that want to do the same things as you, they're inevitably. Also, it's open all the time. Somebody is going to be there. You're like, oh, I don't know how to do this like screen print. If you're here at like 10 p.m., there's going to be someone in the building that knows how to screen print and like that can help you with it. Or like great people. There's great techs at like all of the shops downstairs and upstairs, and like in jewelry. Great people doing great things.
Awesome. So, what kind of art do you do, and what direction do you want to take your career in?
I make sculptures, mostly multidisciplinary. Thank you. I don't know. I like working with clay. I thought about like really honing in on ceramics for a minute. When I was little, I really wanted to be a special effects artist, like more than anything in the world. So I love costumes. I would love to work in like doing tech for theater. I think that'd be really cool. So I'm gonna start like stage crew.
Awesome. So, have you been involved in any activism or anything like that besides Comart Cafe?
Not as much as I would have liked to. I used to volunteer for the Eastern Farm Workers Association, but they really wanted me to keep coming back in like a way that I did not have the time for or the commitment for. There's not enough ways I can get involved. I feel like there's so many places that I want to like contribute, but I just feel like I don't have the time or I don't have the experience for it. Comart Cafe was really good. Like, it's good for me. It felt nice. It was really good. I really support it.
How would you say that it's good for you?
No, it's just like honing in the community and like with zines I get to print out things that I like believe in, and I get to spread that information. Like when people pick the one that you printed out, it feels nice. It's like, oh, I want this information, and I also believe in this.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit more about the zines when it comes to the Comart Cafe.
The people that volunteer their time, sometimes also their art, and like you print out a certain amount of zines. Sometimes you bring your own. Sometimes you like find some, get them approved, and then you print them out. I'm not a big like illustration person, so I haven't drawn them out yet. But I have a couple of templates that are like my go-to favorites. What was the other one? Print out like 30. Don't talk to the police. Good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Talk about what the zines actually say, like activism that is important to you and what like relates to it, like themes.
I think a lot of them. What was the other one? The last Comart Cafe was the like coping with how expensive being an art student was. I think it was really important to get that out there, and like all of the fees and stuff. They're like, oh, an art degree isn't as valuable as like any other degree that you can get, which is just like, it's stupid. oh, this added struggle of like, man, we also don't have a lot of money.
And does the university help you out with any other charges?
No, they don't, and they really don't care. They just cut it again. I'm like a shop technician over at the wood shop, and that is like my job right now. And we just got cut funding, so I'm pretty sure my like salary's gonna go down. So that blows. Even less money for art supplies, which is like my life. It's like I don't know. The other ones, there were some good ones. There was There was another one, recognizing hate symbols, which is like I wouldn't have even realized a couple of things like that were in there. I don't know. This is embarrassing. My instrument, like I got my instrument secondhand, and there's a sticker on it. I just thought it was like a sticker. It kind of looks like an iron cross, so I like covered that up immediately. I didn't really realize. It's like shout out to the dude from Comart Cafe because wow, I feel stupid.
Yeah, awesome. So, what other sort of symptoms do you see in Syracuse University that shows that there needs to be some sort of change in the way things operate?
Man, I think there's so much ignorance. Like, that's like poisonous, especially here. There's so many people that go here, and it's like most of them I don't know, they don't care, they don't really know. FYS, you go to the mandatory like class in your first semester, and then they tell you like, oh, redlining the highway, it's really bad here, guys, give back to the community, and like that's where it ends. And it's like they tell you not to like walk in the neighborhood that I grew up in because it's like a bad neighborhood. It kind of blows. And then all these people, they're like shitting on like, oh, Syracuse sucks, there's no nightlife, there's no city life, there's no public transportation. It's like the divide is like your fault.
And it runs deeper than that, right?
It is. It's like you guys choose to go here, and then you complain about it. It's like a lot of ignorance.
How do you see Syracuse University, like before when you lived in Syracuse, you saw it as a certain like entity, and now that you're in it, how do you relate back to like your community where you actually grew up in?
And it makes me angry, and I can't help but get angry. And I know like a lot of people that I went to high school with, people that I grew up with, are like, oh, they're so proud of me for getting into Syracuse, and then going to Syracuse and pursuing that, taking advantage of this great opportunity. But like, where's that? Where am I gonna end up? Because I just feel I'm just like a cog in the machine now. It's like, oh, I went to the big school on the hill that everybody wants to go because it's so different from the city, because the city is so bad and this place is so good. But then it's just like I'm surrounded by people that don't realize that the bad is like what I knew, and that the good isn't so great. It's like it makes me feel bad going here sometimes. I just feel like I'm contributing, even though I don't know. It is. I guess I'm having an alright time. I'm glad I got the opportunity. I am glad I got the opportunity.
It's sort of that the environment kind of forces you to contribute to that, like
Oh, absolutely.
negativity. Yeah.
Totally.
2 minutes left on the clock. Just real quick, talk about what art means to you and how this is important, how activism is important.
Activism is so important. Art is so important. I wouldn't be able to like be alive if it wasn't for art, and I know that so many other people, especially in this program, can say exactly the same thing. It's like art is my life, and that's how I like stay in the loop. That's how I stay informed. And it's like that's how so many people just see the world, is through art. And to like not count art as activism as like art, or not count the other one as the other one, it's completely unfair. And I think they absolutely go together. They're both very impactful, and I wouldn't be able to live without either of them.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
My name's Ames Gerstenberger. I study art education.
And when you look back at your past, what led you towards art?
I had a really good art teacher in middle school. I don't know, I never really took art classes in high school, but I did it as a hobby. And it was between that and English education, and I decided I couldn't grade papers for the rest of my life, but I could look at artwork for the rest of my life.
What has led you to your specialty today?
Like cyanotyping? Can I geek out about that for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I kept seeing videos pop up on like social media of people doing cyanotype and like other forms of printmaking. And at the time when I started seeing this content, I was in a darkroom class. I really liked darkroom, and I started trying cyanotype because the skills are pretty transferable. And yeah, I just like kept doing it. And I think it's also a little bit because I'm the only person I know who like does it. It's like kind of my thing, so now I get to teach other people how to do it.
And then,
You know?
talk a little more about how you think art education is today, and like how you apply your art to your education career.
Okay. I mean, I think in art ed there's this big emphasis on like, you know, moving forward and being the progressive subject, and I think that it is important to introduce, you know, like certain like heavier topics in the art classroom. I think what I'm trying to do with art ed is to bring less of an emphasis towards social things and more of an emphasis towards like traditional artistic skill, and like showing that there's so many ways that you can make a career out of art, that you don't necessarily need to go into, you know, like a corporate job or something along that lines. Like there's a lot of need for creatives, like whether it be digital art and like graphic design, stuff like that, or, you know, people to physically like make prints for things. I just want to like shed light on that to kids so that they grow up understanding that there's a variety of ways that they can go in life, you know? Because I feel like when I was a kid, I didn't think I would end up here. And like, I kind of picked the education thing because of job security, but like, I don't know, I'm kind of just like, I love what I do now, and
Okay. Relating to that, I feel like you have a different perspective on the systematic issues in Syracuse University and how you see that, like, in whenever you're teaching in middle school or in high school. Like, what systematic issues are around the faculty here in high schools?
Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit, and some people probably aren't gonna like this. SU has kind of taken over the city of Syracuse, and there's a lot of, like, I'm currently teaching at Lincoln Middle School, and, you know, that's a city school. Compared to, like, SU and some of, like, the, you know, like, suburban high schools that I've student taught at, like, the city schools need more attention that they're not getting. And a lot of people who are Syracuse locals kind of, like, hate the university for everything that it's done to the infrastructure of the city. And I mean, it's a lot how, like, when they built I-81, they weren't intending for it to become a racial issue and a class issue, but it is an issue like that. And I think it's the same with SU, that so much of the money in this city is just dedicated towards the university. The surrounding areas are just getting poorer and poorer because, you know.
Yeah. And how do you see that in, like, your day-to-day studying here?
I mean, here I feel like there are a lot of rich, privileged students who don't realize how privileged they are to be studying at an $80K a year university. Like, I know I'm not paying that much. Most of the people I'm friends with aren't paying that much, and I think because of the demographic of people that I interact with, it's really jarring when someone doesn't fit into that, and it's like, clearly you can tell that mommy and daddy are paying for everything for you, and that's not the case for a lot of us. Like, I don't know, SU specific stuff, like, art department gets zero money. Again, like, we don't have food in our building, and I'm in here 8 hours a day most of the time, every day. So it's either I pack a lunch, I starve, or I spend $20 on DoorDash when I can't really afford that. And I have a car. I'm not allowed to park my car outside of this building because SU parking wants to ticket me every time I'm in this lot fuck you SU parking. Put that in the video. Yeah. I have to park in a parking lot that is like a 7-minute walk behind the building when there are empty parking spaces out front every single day, and I'm not allowed to park there because the university sees me as a fucking money pump. They want all of my money because I'm not paying them that tuition, you know? Like,
If you have 2 parking passes and you can't get another one, so you either.
oh no, I'm not allowed to get a second parking pass. I only have one because I live on campus. They require me to get a parking pass for where I live, which makes sense, right? That means that I can't get another parking pass to park in this lot. So, and I don't even know if I'll be able to park here next year, because next year I'm not living on campus. So if I don't get a parking pass for this specific lot, I'm not paying a dime to SU parking, okay? I can't justify that. For my apartment, it was $160 for the whole year, which is, or no, it was $260, something like that. I don't know. It was under $300. So when you break that down, it's like, I can't do math. Whatever the heck 260 divided by 10 is, because I'm not here in the summer months. If I were to pay for the summer months, it would be more expensive. I don't know. Chat, you can math that for me. I don't know.
What other issues are you passionate about outside of Syracuse University? Like, what activism do you take part of?
I'm very pro-Palestine. I've been making zines to support Palestinian people and also uplifting artists from Palestine, because I think that it's important to recognize that that group of people is more than a socio-political conflict. You know, they're people, they deserve to be heard, they deserve to be respected, regardless of, you know, what's going on in the world right now. I'm also very, like, into alternative process photography. On a lighter note, that's a lot less of, like, you know, I just think that photography is cool. I don't know, man. What else am I passionate about? I don't know, you tell me. Oh, yeah, well, I mean, like, judging from the everything about me, I feel like it's very obvious that I am, you know, queer. I think, hot take, trans people don't deserve to be murdered. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know, like mental health, very much so, and like, you know, harm reduction, I think are very important things. I'm not doing as much to promote that through my artwork because I feel like most of my stuff is very much like focused on becoming a person and dealing with the realities of being alive at this point in time. Off topic, but like, I despise social media with a passion. I used to be very, very active on TikTok. I have since deleted all of the videos off of my account because I hate the internet and I don't want that out there for the rest of my life. And I don't know, I just like sometimes wish that I was born in like the 70s. I wish I was my dad. I wish I could have gone through the world like. And, you know, okay, I understand that it's a lot easier to be queer nowadays, and that if I was born in the 70s, I probably would have been, like, you know, I don't know, like, assaulted and, like, not exactly as respected as I am. I would not have a career in education if I was born in the 70s. I think it's definitely important to recognize queer history and that it wasn't always an option for us to exist looking as we would like to present. However, what was my point?
You did great. How did you get involved with Comart Cafe, and what's your role? What do you see the goals? All of that.
We were freshman year roommates. Yeah, the creator of the Comart Cafe project, we lived together. And I don't know, you just kind of asked me if I wanted to join it, and I was like, hell yeah, food and Comart, I support.
What do you see the goal of Comart Cafe be if it were to continue after we're gone?
I mean, I think the main goal is to address a lot of the concerns that we have with SU as an institution. And I mean, ultimately it would be really great if you wanted to give us actual food that we could use dining dollars on or meal swipes on or something like that. I mean, you're never gonna do it, I know, but a bitch can hope, right? Maybe I shouldn't say bitch.
No,
Maybe,
it's okay.
Can I use another word?
No, I think that's good. Yeah, no, you already said you don't see that goal being reached anytime soon.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna happen because y'all don't care about art majors. Because we're not the Whitman kids. We're paying you $80K a year to be here because we're all on scholarship. You know, or at least the majority of us. Like, I kind of wonder how many people in our program are secretly paying the $80K a year and like are cosplaying as a poor, starving art student. I mean, you know, probably not that many of them though. Like, there's gotta be a couple though, because why would they have an art program if none of us are paying for it? Where's their money coming from? Maybe that's why we have no money. Maybe that's why we're in a studio with no windows and no ventilation. It is not safe for me to oil paint in here. I would get cancer. Pan to the oil painting right there.
Okay.
If I die in 20 years, I'm suing you, SU.
What are zines? Explain it to the people that don't know. And what significance do you think Comart Cafe has with zines?
Can I show one? Can I show one that you have?
They're all the way up there.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
bring you some.
So, zines are like little mini magazine booklets. I think for the most part, the ones that we're doing at Comart Cafe are like political or social issue oriented. Thank you, Zoe. We have Dead Girl Digest. Love Dead Girl Digest. Okay. But yeah, some of them are like, you know, punk scene oriented. I think it did originate in the punk scene as like, you know, a news source of sorts. But yeah, they're designed to like spread important information, but in a concise and cutesy little way. I have a little collection at home. Yeah, I don't know. What else do you want me to say on that?
Do you have any other things that add to you think will offer insight into your vision for or your role in Comart Cafe? Do you have any ideas of what the university could do to change that students are forced to do to improve the art world here?
Well, I mean, if you won't give us a cafe, you can at least give us cheaper vending machines, or let us use our dining dollars in the vending machines, because why the hell am I spending $5 on a Celsius every time I'm in this building? I should just go to the grocery store.
Yes. Okay. As a future educator, what do you think the future of art education could be that would help continue the arts?
I mean, I think one big thing is showing like multidisciplinary art and, you know, not just traditional painting, drawing, clay sculpture. Like, I think the art world as it's like in and of itself is moving towards a lot of digital stuff and multimedia, and I think it's just important for kids who are learning how to be artists to get a good grasp of all of those disciplines so that they can figure out what they actually enjoy doing, because that's kind of like why I never took art classes in high school, because I hate painting, I hate drawing, I don't want to be told what to paint or draw. I think we really need to let kids explore what works for them. Teaching for artistic behaviors is a really good, like teaching philosophy that I actually personally know a teacher in Syracuse who does that. They call it TAB, which is essentially the kids go into the classroom and there's stations around the room for whatever the heck they want to work on. So, you know, if one kid wants to be on the computer working on Photoshop, they can do that. If another kid wants to be painting, they can paint. If another kid wants to sculpt, they can sculpt. And it's not like forcing kids to do like certain projects. It's letting them make what they want to make. And I mean, that's kind of how they let us do it in university, although we're not like in a classroom doing it. But like, for all of my projects, I do cyanotype, I do some sort of photography. For all of your projects, you do whatever the heck you do, I don't know. But like, you have a very solid style. I know a lot of people who like only do ceramics. I know a lot of people who only do painting. And I think it's good to at least introduce kids to all of those subjects and, you know, monitor that they do something within each discipline. But if they don't like it, don't make them do it for an entire year. Like, that sucks.
But don't you, this is not related to the don't you think if that were to happen, then the schools that are underfunded would just be able to cut off sports and like arts and music and all of that, because it's like, well, the kids still want to do it if there's just like a year where kids are more interested in like computer science
that's gonna happen in schools regardless of what the art program looks like. I mean, I think an art program that allows kids to do what they're passionate about is, you know, gonna get more kids invested in art because they're learning things that they haven't necessarily seen before. I mean, why do you think I teach cyanotype in schools? Half of y'all probably don't even know what that is.